Did you know some of your favorite Marvel heroes are now dealing with lifelong injuries from their epic stunts? From Renner breaking both arms on set to Chris Hemsworth suffering from back pain after swinging Thor's hammer, these stories will blow your mind. Here are the 10 Marvel actors who got lifelong disabilities from filming. 1. Robert Downey Jr. Back in August 2012, while filming Iron Man 3, Robert Downey Jr. got hurt during a stunt. He had to jump off a raised platform to act like there was an explosion behind him. But things didn't go as planned. He landed badly, twisted his ankle, and ended up fracturing it. The injury was serious, and the whole movie production had to stop for over 6 weeks so he could heal.
I did all right. I broke my ankle once, but then that gave us time to do some more script revisions.
Since he couldn't film during that time, the director, Shane Black, had to get creative. They used body doubles and even some CGI computer effects to finish scenes with Tony Stark. Even after healing, the injury left a mark. In later interviews, Robert admitted that doing all those action scenes in Iron Man and Avengers movies was starting to wear him down. He even joked that he felt like an aging football player and needed regular therapy and rehab to keep going. Now that he's done with Marvel, Robert is focusing more on his health. He eats clean, stretches daily, and does rehab exercises. He's also into some holistic stuff like biohacking and Eastern medicine. Even though he healed enough to finish the Marvel movies, some of the pain never fully went away. That's one of the reasons he decided to leave the role of Iron Man. His body just couldn't handle the intense physical work anymore. 2. Renner. Before the scary snowplow accident in 2023, Renner had already gone through some painful stuff while filming Marvel movies. He did most of his own stunts, which sounds cool, but it came with a cost. One of the worst injuries happened during Avengers: Age of Ultron back in 2015. He was doing a stunt that involved jumping from a high place during a fight scene, but he landed wrong and ended up breaking both arms, his right elbow and left wrist. In an interview, Renner said,
I jumped back on it, or tried to, and got cut up in the tracks and broke like 38 bones. And it was brutal, dude. It was brutal. Dude, you don't want.
I was doing a stunt and I landed wrong. I broke my right elbow and my left wrist. I had to keep filming with both arms busted up. That's right. He finished filming the movie with broken arms. He wore braces and used pain management just to get through the rest of the shoot. He didn't want to delay the movie, so he kept the injuries quiet. But the damage didn't fully go away. Renner later said that he now has permanent nerve damage in his arms. Even though he's still active and strong, he admitted his body doesn't bounce back like it used to. So why did he do his own stunts? Renner said he wanted Hawkeye to feel real and human, not like the other superpowered heroes. That meant doing tough scenes himself. 3. Tom Holland. Tom Holland might be the youngest Spider-Man in the Marvel movies, but even he couldn't escape the physical toll of the role. From the start, he was super excited to do most of his own stunts, including flips, wall climbs, and wire work. But all that action started to hurt. A lot. While filming Spider-Man: Homecoming in 2017, Tom injured his hand doing a stunt. It wasn't broken, but it still needed medical attention and time to heal. In interviews, Tom shared how hard it was. He said, "I've messed up my back a couple of times. I've messed up my shoulder, and I've had physios say, if you keep doing this, your spine's going to give out." That's scary, especially since he's still in his 20s. Doctors warned him that without enough rest, the damage to his spine could be long-term. But even with all that, Tom kept doing his stunts. Why? Because he wanted Spider-Man to feel real. As a trained gymnast, he felt proud showing off those moves. But the pain didn't stop there for Tom Holland. After all those daring flips and wall climbs, another Marvel star would soon find themselves facing a seriously scary accident that would change their life forever. 4. Chris Hemsworth. Chris Hemsworth might play Thor, the god of thunder, but even he can't escape the pain that comes with being a superhero. Over the years, from his first Thor movie in 2011 to Avengers: Endgame, Chris has gone through intense training, crazy fight scenes, and non-stop action. He works super hard to stay in shape and look like a real-life hero, but all that hard work has caused some serious pain. Chris has talked about how he deals with chronic pain in his back and shoulders, especially in his rotator cuffs and lower back. These injuries didn't happen all at once. They built up slowly. Swinging Thor's heavy hammer, doing hand-to-hand fight scenes, and wearing tight armor for hours really wore him down. He even said in an interview that after all the training, lifting, and stunts, his back and shoulders sometimes feel completely wrecked. Doing the same kind of movements over and over, like swinging a hammer or lifting weights, caused problems like rotator cuff injuries, tight muscles, and even spinal pain. Sankiem Elizabeth Olsen. Elizabeth Olsen, who plays Scarlet Witch in the Marvel movies, went through a really tough time while filming Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness in 2022. During one of the flying scenes where Wanda uses her chaos magic to float in the air, Elizabeth had to wear a super tight wire harness. It may look cool in the movie, but in real life, those harnesses are painful and uncomfortable. While doing the stunt, the harness pulled her body at a weird angle, and it ended up injuring her spine. She actually got a herniated disc, which is when one of the discs in your spine gets pushed out and causes a lot of pain. Elizabeth shared that being in the harness for hours really messed up her back. She said her body isn't made to be yanked around like that, and the injury is something she's still dealing with. After the accident, she had constant lower back pain, stiffness, and nerve pain that got worse with movement or even cold weather. Even though she was hurt, she didn't stop filming. She pushed through the pain, but had to use physical therapy and pain medicine just to keep going on set. 6. Chris Evans. Chris Evans may have looked super cool and tough as Captain America, but playing that role wasn't easy on his body. Behind the scenes, all those action scenes, stunts, and shield throws really started to hurt him over the years. Chris did a lot of his own stunts, which meant his body was always getting hit, tossed, and pushed to the limit. By the time he was done filming Avengers, Infinity War, and Endgame, he had a lot of pain in his shoulders and knees. Throwing the shield again and again messed up his shoulder muscles, and jumping or falling in fight scenes caused problems in his knees and ankles. Wearing the heavy Captain America suit for long hours also made things worse by putting extra pressure on his joints. Chris said in interviews that the pain didn't come from just one injury. It built up slowly over time. Doing the same tough movements over and over caused wear and tear on his body. He didn't have much time to rest either, since the Marvel movies were shot back to back. At one point, before Captain America: Civil War, he even thought about quitting because the pain and exhaustion were getting too much. But he kept going because he loved the role, and the fans loved him as Cap. 7th, Sebastian Stan. Sebastian Stan looked super cool as the Winter Soldier in the Marvel movies, but playing that role actually messed up his body a lot. One of the biggest problems was the metal arm he had to wear. It wasn't real metal, but it was still heavy and really hard to move in. During all the fast fight scenes and stunts, Sebastian had to do everything while wearing that stiff and bulky arm. It looked awesome on screen, but behind the scenes, it was painful. He said in interviews that the arm hurt his shoulder and wrist so badly that he had to see a doctor. Because the arm was so tight and heavy, it started causing real problems. His shoulder muscles got really sore, and he even started feeling numbness and tingling in his arm and fingers. That's because the arm was pressing on his nerves and messing with the blood flow. On top of that, doing all the punching and knife fights while wearing something so hard to move in made his wrist swell up and his joints ache. These weren't just small injuries either. Even after filming was done, he still felt pain and tightness in his shoulder and upper back. 8. Chadwick Boseman. Chadwick Boseman, famous for his role as King T'Challa in Black Panther, is remembered not only for his incredible performances, but also for his amazing strength and determination behind the scenes. What many didn't know is that while Chadwick was portraying one of the most powerful superheroes in Hollywood, he was secretly battling a serious illness. In 2016, he was diagnosed with stage 3 colon cancer, which eventually became stage 4. Despite this life-changing news, Chadwick kept his diagnosis private and chose to continue working, even while going through surgeries and intense chemotherapy. During his fight with cancer, he filmed several major movies including Black Panther, Avengers, Infinity War, Avengers, Endgame, 21 Bridges, and Da 5 Bloods. These roles involved heavy physical training, stunt work, and fight choreography. Black Panther in particular required him to stay in excellent shape and perform challenging action scenes. Behind the scenes, Chadwick was often in pain. Reports from the set mentioned that he would sometimes collapse from exhaustion, and his body was weakened from cancer treatment, causing internal pain and injuries. 9. Leticia Wright. In August 2021, while filming a motorcycle stunt for Black Panther, Wakanda Forever in Boston, Leticia Wright, who plays Shuri, was involved in a serious accident. During the stunt, she crashed into a rigged camera platform while riding the motorcycle at high speed. Even though she wasn't performing a particularly dangerous stunt, the crash was severe enough to send her to the hospital. Leticia sustained several injuries, including a fractured shoulder, a concussion, and neurological complications that lasted for months. These injuries were worse than originally reported, and she needed a lot of time to recover. At first, Marvel Studios tried to downplay the seriousness of the accident, but by November 2021, they had to halt production entirely to give Leticia time to heal. She was in a lot of physical pain and dealing with ongoing trauma. On top of the physical injuries, Leticia was still mourning the loss of her co-star and close friend, Chadwick Boseman, who had passed away the year before. Many cast and crew members said the emotional weight of taking on a larger role while grieving added extra stress and pressure during her recovery. Gishanti Paul Bettany. Playing Vision in the Marvel Cinematic Universe was no easy feat for Paul Bettany. Every day he had to go through a long and intense makeup process to transform into the synthetic superhero. It would take 3 to 4 hours just to apply the prosthetics, which involved covering his face with latex, silicone, and detailed paint to get Vision's unique look. Then, after a full day of filming, he had to sit through another hour or more of removal. This meant long, exhausting hours spent in a suit that trapped heat and limited his ability to move or breathe freely. The physical toll on Bettany was severe. The tight suit caused skin irritation and rashes, and the pressure from the headpiece often led to painful headaches. His neck and upper back were constantly sore from the weight of the prosthetics and maintaining a stiff posture to keep the character looking sharp. Bettany once humorously compared the suit to being a sweaty sausage, but there was real discomfort behind that joke. The heat inside the suit was another issue. Without any ventilation, the costume trapped heat, especially under bright studio lights, causing Bettany to take regular breaks to cool down and stay hydrated. Mentally, the experience was draining too. The suit often left him feeling isolated, unable to hear or interact with others on set properly. If you found this story surprising, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe for more shocking behind-the-scenes stories, and drop a comment telling us which injury shocked you the most.